Hello, welcome everyone to the podcast Let's Talk Internet Computer. Today we have a special guest. He's Austin Fatheree. He's the CTO at ORIGYN Foundation and the Executive Director at icdevs.org. Thank you so much, Mr. Austin, to being here with us today.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome, thanks. Yes, first, as always, yes, I'm curious to know more about you. Could you please introduce yourself, your story before start the origin, CTO position, and maybe your earlier stages?
Sure. So I guess I graduated with the management information systems degree, and really sort of focused on data architecture, and started my career trying to build performant databases when that was pretty difficult to do. And over time, I tried a few different things here and there, did some entrepreneurial stuff, worked for some giant global consulting corporations. And I ended up at some point realizing that I could just sort of run my own business and do the projects I wanted to do. And so I did that. And while I was doing that, I spent a lot of time as crypto was sort of emerging, following it and following along, and always wanting to implement some of these sort of weird, crazy ideas that I had about money and stuff like that. When I finally sat down and read the Bitcoin white paper, it all just sort of clicked, right? That I was like, oh my gosh, all the things that I need to do this other stuff I want to do over here is already in this protocol, and I just I can go do it now. And of course, that was in almost 10 years ago now, and it wasn't quite as scalable as I expected it to be. And so it took a while to get us to a point where we have a scalable system that's big enough and large enough to start to build systems that can not just sort of shake the bones of the existing financial system, but that are scalable enough to actually be used by everyone on the planet. Mm-hmm. And so in doing my crypto stuff, I wrote a book, and I started to go out and promote it and promote these ideas that I was trying out. And to do that, I ended up at a hackathon because I was technical and I could actually build this stuff. Ended up at a hackathon and was recruited by a group out of Boston Consulting Group to come help them try to launch a crypto company. And I did that. The mission of what we were going to do sort of changed over time. We ended up launching a different company, not involved with Boston Consulting Group, did that for 3 years. But we spent most of that time working with corporates, major Fortune 500 companies, asking them, what do you need to do to move to this decentralized world? And also telling them, hey, we're all moving to this decentralized world. How are you guys gonna react? So that was very instructive. And one of the partners of that company ended up founding ORIGYN and recruiting me to ORIGYN to work there. So that's where I am now. Along the way, I also founded ICDevs before I started ORIGYN, which was just sort of we started working with DFINITY in 2017, way before Genesis, and having these conversations. So I had a little bit of an insight into what was going to be possible with the platform. And I started ICDevs because there was no US-based 501c3 nonprofit that could take advantage of tax-advantaged access to capital donations and things like that to help improve the ecosystem, improve education, do research and discovery. That's basically why that exists, is to once we get this thing taking off like a rocket ship, it's there for US based businesses and individuals to have a place where they can put tax advantage contributions into the community. So that's what I'm doing now. Is at ORIGYN, we're trying to change the way the world experiences real goods and digital non-fungible assets.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a good story. That's amazing because your path was really, really well. You start like with Bitcoin, then with Bachelor Group, and then you realize or meet ICP, Internet Computer Protocol, and then Origin. Like your path is the best. You are on the best blockchain and in the best project or one of the best projects. That's amazing. Yeah. And
Well,
how you realize that the potential of internet computer? You mentioned about the icdevs.org. When you see like, wow, this is something disruptive, this is something unique, and this is the future.
well, it's because of my own experience, right? I tried to build this book that I wrote, and this system I was trying to implement was an alternative current type of currency that attempted to realign financial incentives in the world to hopefully make the world a better place. And when I tried to build it on Bitcoin, it wasn't scalable enough. When I tried to build it on Ethereum, I could sort of get there, but I couldn't. It didn't seem like it was going to scale globally, and there were certain calculations that were necessary that were too difficult to do on the Ethereum blockchain and needed a really scalable platform. So when I heard what Dfinity was doing and I saw what Dfinity was doing, it was clear that if I ever was going to be able to build it, it was going to be on a platform like Dfinity. And then once I sort of shelved that and said, we got to wait for scalability and started talking to institutions, and I applied that data architecture background, it just became clearer and clearer that, the scalability and performance provided by Dfinity and by ICP was going to be absolutely necessary in the long run for what we wanted to do.
Awesome. Okay. Yes, and if we dig in more about the origin, I know like we have all the information on the web page, on internet, but in your opinion, you work inside every single day. You are one of the most important persons there as a CTO. What is exactly Origin Foundation, and why do you think it's unique, disruptive? What is the vision in general, and which problems can solve in terms of authenticity, verifications, certificates, this work?
So we say Origin exists to protect what is most valuable. And what that means for us, we're a nonprofit Swiss foundation that has a mission to do that. And our goal is to build a system that allows people to transact around durable goods as well as digital goods in a way that's trustless. Right now, when you buy a durable good, and we sort of came out of the watch industry, and that was where we first focused because luxury goods have a bigger margin, and it's a little bit easier to make some hay there before you move down the value stack. But you think about luxury watches, there's a lot of money that goes into forgeries for those, and so being able, when you transact with someone on the internet, you don't know what's going to happen, right? We've had this problem since eBay emerged and Craigslist came on the scene, where I'm going to buy this from you and you're going to are you going to ship it to me FedEx? Am I going to send you the money before I get it, after I get it? Do we send half before and half after? What if what I get is a forgery or not up to the specifications that you provided? And so this takes a lot of this adds a bunch of trust. It adds a huge trust layer, and you pay eBay and you pay Amazon and you pay these companies a huge premium to do that work for you, right? When you enter a marketplace, you're trusting the marketplace provider to provide that trust for you. And so what we're trying to do is eliminate the need for that, so that if I'm talking to you, there's some trust layer out there that takes care of making sure that the thing you're trying to sell me is actually real and authentic. And that's the Origin Digital Certificate. And we're building a network of authentication providers and a network of valuation providers and a network of logistics providers that can make sure that you can transact peer-to-peer with the same level of certainty and trust that you can that you can when you're interacting with Amazon today, right? And that will decentralize that, and that will move a lot of the value from those middlemen back out to the edges of the economic network, where we want the value to reside. We're eliminating middlemen all over the place, right? That's what this decentralized technology does.
Yeah, this is like super new technology, right? We don't not exist before. Before we have like that physical certification. If you buy like a watch or a picture or whatever, then you have like the paper, the card. Okay, this is authentic. But now, this is totally disruptive, right? This is new. Nothing before Origin. This is like technology. I'm curious about the maybe you can easy works. What is
Yeah, we're making that digital certificate. It's not just the thing that comes in the box that you throw in a drawer and don't look at ever again. It's a living, breathing thing that is out there that not only can you interact with it, but others can interact with it as well. The originator of your asset can interact with it. Third parties can interact with it. It can become a nexus point for something that's valuable to you, because it's not just the asset that's valuable to you. It's also the experiences along the way. It is the community that's engaged with the same things that you're engaged with that add value to that thing. There's a coffee shop down the street from me, and every Thursday afternoon you drive by it, and in the evening there's like 50 Jeeps, customized Jeeps parked in the parking lot. And they clearly have a community of people who really like Jeeps, and they're out there and they get together and they're talking about their Jeeps. And it's important, it's valuable to them. The experience of owning the Jeep is as valuable to them as the Jeep. And so being able to have a digital platform that enables that interaction is what we're doing with our perpetual OS software. We call it an experience operating system. And it allows you to take these digital certificates and the people who are connected with them and form a nexus point that really increases the value of these things.
Okay. I'm curious, for example, if I have to explain to my grandpa, like, no, you can, with your phone, you can scan your watch, and see your Rolex, grandpa, if it's authentical or not authentical. Like that's crazy, right? And even you can track if it's built on China or in Europe or in North America, wherever. And the way that Origyn merged physical artifacts, physical objects with blockchains and NFTs, that's something like it's difficult to explain, right? In general for the population, for the people. What is behind the scenes, the biometric data, intelligence technology? I saw like one conference by Vincent Ferrer about he saw like a big and see like with a cam you can start to do like a zoom in and see like exactly all the pieces, all the small things, and each product is different. This is something crazy, honestly.
Yeah, that gets into our biometry technology. And so you have to when you want to take trust out of something, all you're left with is the facts and people's opinions, and so you have this interplay between people's opinions and the physics of a thing.
Exactly.
Now, what's nice about physical objects is that they have a physical makeup, and even your iPhone, as much precision as Apple puts into the production of those, there are still nuances in each device. Now, picking watches was probably not, in retrospect, the absolute best choice we could have made, because identifying an individual watch is very hard. Rolex makes a set of them, and while they do have unique characteristics, the face is the same, and the arms are the same, and band is the same, and so it's difficult. It's hard to do. And what our biometry technology really does is it attempts to reduce the cost for these authentication providers to authenticate and make sure it's not a forgery. And we do that with a mixture of AI, high resolution photography, and we're at a really cool point in history where these things are coming together. The technology on an iPhone 14 Pro to do macro lens photography, walking up to, you can just point it at your tennis shoe, and the detail you get from the threads and all of that, eventually, if you make sure and you identify the points of interest, we do use AI, but at a certain point, any human could look at it and say, that's the same watch. I know it's the same watch because he zoomed in on the 6 and there's a speck of dirt and there's these rings that are coming out from these exact little areas, and no other watch in the world has that pattern. It's like a human fingerprint, right?
Yeah. Wow. And now, yeah, the real cases now, for example, it's like, as you mentioned, like the watches, pictures. I'm not sure also jewels. My question is it possible, maybe not now, but in the future, or maybe now, yes, certificate the authenticity of clothes, sneakers, for example, or even wines, food with label designation of origin? For example, I'm from Spain. Like in Spain, the wines is super, in general, France, Spain, Italy. They have like a label designation in Rioja and Ribera del Duero, for example. Is it possible to know if these wines are produced there, or for sure, origin, the stages now, earlier stages, is the project is not like 20 or 30 years before, but what is the limitations now from this technology and the next steps or milestones that Origin want to achieve in the near future?
Yeah. Well, that gets into people's opinions, and sometimes people are empowered to have opinions. Like, for instance, say an organization that's sole purpose exists to say, hey, this is an English good. We're going to certify that this was made in England, right? And so we're talking to organizations like this about doing this, where in our NFT, we're able to give those organizations, and only those organizations, the right to write specific data in and out of that NFT. So when you scan something and it pulls up what it is, you'll be able to see that governing organization has written something into the NFT to say, hey, this authentication is valid, or this authentication is expired, or it was valid from here to here. It just adds enriched historical data. Mm-hmm. And so that's an amazing thing, to be able to have a data structure that's mine, that I own, but that other organizations have some sovereignty over pieces of it, is a really dynamic data paradigm that hasn't really existed, right? And so I don't have to give it up for them to update the status of my certification. They can just do it. And so we're certainly working with organizations like that. We're also working with organizations to do that same kind of pattern for provenance of an item. So there's a certification organization that's certifying a particular type of luxury good. There's another organization that made it and is able to provide the evidence that the thing was made or produced or manufactured in a specific place, and they're able to write that data into the digital certificate and update it if necessary. Right. Mm-hmm. So this can be a really interesting thing for recall data. If you have something complex and there's a recall, being able to write a recall notice into all the existing certificates of the items that need to be recalled and fixed is a really powerful feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And when the Origin app is in production, it means this is pretty scalable. Everybody, because it's in your smartphones, in your camera, everybody can use it. When do you think is in like start to do like in a massive way that everyone can use it, and how it works? If the people have needs to pay like a service, a monthly service is free. How it exactly works, the business side?
Yeah. So right now we're starting out at the network protocol level. So we're building a protocol that people can build businesses on top of. So what we have in production so far is our NFT technology that has a marketplace built into it. So there are a couple people that have deployed production digital NFTs or digital certificates. We have the Julian Opie painting that was published by Yumi.
It's a here, right?
Yeah, it's a physical painting that was split into pieces, and it has 1,000 potential co-owners. I think it's 1,000 potential co-owners, and I don't know exactly how many pieces are owned by different people, but there's I think there's something like at least over 200 owners currently of that painting, and it's publicly traded. You can trade it on Yumi. You can also trade it inside of the NFT. There's a marketplace where you can trade it. And then UnfoldVR has launched a minting platform for their 3D. This is a purely digital play. They have a file format that helps organize all the 3D assets for a 3D NFT so that it can be played or inserted into almost any game platform, all the major game platforms. We have a multi-asset NFT. So that means that different formats can be hosted inside the same entity and served up from the web. So for both of those are network plays, and we built a protocol. Now, as far as the biometry and stuff like that goes, that's a business that gets built on top of the protocol. So we're working with other companies, some of them very large, to try to build that. It requires collecting massive amounts of training data. It requires having the proper hardware to capture it. It requires the proper capture process. We've built at least 3 different robots to try to do this, and every year they get better and better and better. And so we're looking at, we will likely have and we have like a mobile phone wallet that is designed to, right now we're trying to figure out if we're going to publish our own, that's the only one, or if we're going to let people white label it. So for instance, if a company wants to mint their own certificates, they could have their own mobile app that allows them to for people to hold their assets in there, and it's built on top of the protocol. So the network stuff's up and live right now and working, and we're working on that's helping us with the tokenomics and dialing all of that in. As far as the biometry stuff, that's going to be kind of an industry by industry rollout as we meet the right partners and they understand the value of the technology.
Yeah, sounds cool. Yeah, the protocol NFT technology in the marketplace. I'm one of the owners of the Julian Opie art. Yeah. He is even working in the leather skirt. That's really cool. And also, yeah, I talked with the founder of the UnfoldVR founder about the minting platform with ORIGYN collaboration. I saw like the video. It's like a butterfly, like start to fly, and then it's like enter into the metaverse, and you can customize, and that's crazy. The 3D assets NFTs. This is something as well so disruptive and super cool. And yes, another question is about the counterfeits. Now for sure in the world we have like billions, or I'm not saying millions or thousands of millions of counterfeits. I suppose, I hope, like I assume like a lot of luxury goods companies like has been in contact with you, with ORIGYN. It's like a traditional sector that they lose millions every single year for the counterfeits. Yeah, do you have any anti-counterfeit plan? Or like, I mean, are you in contact with the big companies, luxury companies, and try to fix this problem? They start to like develop, as you mentioned before, something from each company to destroy the counterfeits, or yeah, maybe it's like the end of the counterfeits is near to now, right? With
Yeah.
Origin, honestly.
So we've been around a while, and we've pitched to a lot of people. Where we're finding success at the moment is not starting with the initial producers. We think we'll eventually work with those folks because they're obviously the experts in being able to provide authenticity for their goods that they produce at the time they're produced. But their focus isn't really on that. Their focus is on the primary sale. It's on retail. It's on getting the thing out. Where it becomes interesting is the secondary market, and where there are valuable secondary markets, we're attacking there first and trying to onboard people who, again, want to have this peer-to-peer experience. And I'm having this issue right now where I have to sell a car, and I have to, my choices are to try to sell it myself and do a whole bunch of work to establish trust, or I can just give it to someone, but I have to give up almost half of the value of the car to the used car marketplace, right? Who's trying to buy it low and sell it high. So being able to take that middle person out is important, and we can do that with the secondary market. We think that once the retailers know and see how valuable the certificate is in the secondary market, and that if they're the originator, they get a cut of the secondary market sale, all of a sudden there's almost a demand for them to implement the technology because they have the rights to do it and it's their IP. Why shouldn't they continue to get royalties on the secondary market, right? So being able to offer them that, we think, will be extraordinarily valuable. And it becomes if it catches on, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because no one's going to want to buy on the secondary market unless it has a digital certificate attached. And the marketplace actually exists inside the digital certificate. So, hopefully we sort of create a virtuous, recursive ecosystem here that spirals up and up in value because of the trust we're providing and the community that we're building.
Yeah, really great. Good. And also in terms of tokenomics, we talked a little bit before about the OG token. Tell us more about the OG token. Now I know, like, it's on Sonic, on the DEX, on internet computer. People can buy and sell through ICPs. You can convert ICPs to wrap ICP, and then the wrap ICP to the OG token. Also, I see as well in other centralized exchanges like B2 or MEX, correct?
Correct.
Which things we can buy currently with OGs? Is just for speculation, or what is it?
Yeah, so it's a utility token, and there's current utility and there's future utility to the token. So currently it's used to mint new certificates. So there's like a minting fee there's a minting fee and an authentication fee depending on what you're doing. There may be a fee for that that's paid in OGY tokens. There is governance staking, which allows you to participate in the Origin Network DAO, which currently right now is in charge of the exchange rate that the system will accept between OGY and XDR for our services. In the future, you'll have upgrades that are decided by vote. You'll have motion proposals and all sorts of things that much in the same way that ICP is used to vote on the Internet Computer DAO, NNS DAO. So and then we have some other future staking. The people who are guaranteeing the authenticity will also need OGY to there'll be basically a function that says, based off how much merchandise you've authenticated, you have to have a certain amount of stake to basically provide for fraud claims, right? So if somebody does show it, if you authenticate a watch, it was a $20,000 watch, and somebody comes and says, hey, this is a forgery, and proves that it is, then there has to be some sort of some sort of decentralized process there for your claim to be paid, and there has to be assets to pay it out. So that's the authorization or authentication staking. And then there's even value staking, which is where we actually bring the owners in and build. We'll hopefully have some more information on this coming later in the year, but you actually have the owners able to stake OGY into their items and able to earn rewards based off of certain behaviors of the network and how they preserve and maintain the value of their durable goods. So we're excited about those. There's some of them are still in their infancy, but that's the plan at the moment. And we learned a lot. We launched our token in November of 21. We were the first, I think one of the first to launch a token of some sort, certainly one that was tradable and had some substantial value behind it. And I think we were the first to launch on a centralized exchange. With the first internet computer token, non-ICP token, to launch on a centralized exchange. So we've learned a lot, and we also have governance 2.0 coming at the hopefully in the middle of this year, that will add significant utility to the governance platform, and hopefully some convenience features and things like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the price trend now feel like it start to go up again. I bought OGI tokens. I staked on the governance staking and the governance network for 4 years. I think 4 years is double. It's like by 2, right? If you have
right.
All these.
Yep. If you stake for 4 years, you get 2x returns based off the network. We recently made some governance changes that advantaged voluntary stakers and helped with got them a much higher rate of the inflation, or the rewards rate was going to voluntary stakers. And so it also helps with the deflationary direction of the token in the long term. So we're taking all the things that we've learned and trying to set the token up for success in the future.
Okay. And then after the 4 years, the tokens are available, or then you just need to wait another 4 years to receive the
Well, it works. It's almost exactly the same as ICP. Okay. If you start dissolving, yeah. Once you start dissolving, you have to wait 4 years. Now you'll get paid reward if it's a 4-year stake and you start dissolving. You'll get paid rewards during those first 3 years. Initially at 1.5, and then each year it'll decrease, and then for the last year you won't get any rewards, but you'll still have a year to dissolve. So it works similar to the ICP token.
Yeah, with the difference that in NNS is 8 years the maximum.
Right.
Okay. And what is the are you planning to also launch in the big ones, centralized exchanges? I mean, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, or not by now? This is something you'll think about?
Yeah, it's a process. Those different exchanges all have different onboarding procedures. They have different thresholds for volume and things like that they want to see before you get onboarded. So it's a process, and we're working on that for sure.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. And in terms of the 2023 this year, what is the challenges Origyn have? The next milestones? Next improvements in terms of technology. You can.
Yeah. We really are looking, as I already mentioned, our governance 2.0. We have the marketplace that's up and available for either escrowed physical items, so physical items that are escrowed with an authentication provider, or for digital. It provides atomic transactions for digital. This year we're also looking at implementing a physical peer-to-peer workflow, so that you don't have to escrow your item that you're selling before you put it up for sale. We also are looking at the potential for a EVM integration using the new TEC DSA technology that Dfinity rolled out late last year. The hope is that we'll be able to. The real issue right now in the IC is a lack of eyeballs. But if we can give people a pathway to list their Origin NFTs on OpenSea in a safe and secure way that still protects the royalties of the creators and the originators, we hope to do that this year as well. Also, just some quality of life improvements around notifications, and the perpetual OS will sort of get a homepage at some point, and some top level global dApps that will be helpful for the ecosystem. Those are sort of the things that we have, as well as a number of integrations with businesses, real businesses. So you'll start to see demos and proof of concepts come on board with real industry out in the world, which is the really exciting thing when you get real industry onto the internet computer. I mean, right now we have a lot of entrepreneurial things, which are great, and hopefully one of them is the next billion-dollar idea. But there are existing billion-dollar companies out there already, and once we have them using the internet computer, we've really cracked something.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. Yes, I have a couple of questions more. I don't want to steal more time, but my first question here is about the hackathon that you organized at the end of January. I think it's also with Internet Computer, with Affinity. How it was the hackathon experience? What conclusions did you draw about this experience with hackathon?
Yeah, well, we're excited about it. You're still able to join it if you have an idea of a way to use the Origin NFT or to integrate your service with the Origin NFT. The winner gets 1 million OGY tokens, as well as a $25,000 Definity grant. And so this is also open to existing IC projects or existing projects already. So if you're a existing application out there but just want to integrate with the NFT token, you're eligible for this stuff. So you can build something on the NFT, you can build a perpetual OS dApp, you can do a third-party integration, or you can just extend the platform in an interesting direction. Any of those will qualify. We're here to help. People can reach out. We have an artist that we connected with a developer. Can't guarantee that'll always happen serendipitously, but we're here to help people, and we want people to build the platform, and we want to make it a success. It's invaluable for us to have people use the platform and give us feedback. UnfoldVR, working with them has made our product 100 times better already. And every day we're making more progress with them actually using it. So same with Yumi. So that's the point of the hackathon. And it's going to go throughout February. So you still got 3 weeks. I think it finishes up March 5th. So you still got 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks or so. I guess 3.5 weeks to put something together.
Yeah, for sure. We share the link in the podcast, the episode, so people can join and have good projects. Yeah, for sure. Yes, another question is about in terms of growth. Staff in Origin. How many people form Origin now? Is more focusing on technology, for example, internet computer. Maybe 80% of the staff are R&D and tech people. In Origin is similar. You are the CTO. Your team is the biggest part of the Origin, and also there are marketing parts, legal, HR.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride. I mean, Origin was born during a bull market when money flowed, like water from the from the wellhead. But we're trying to right size ourselves for the long term. We have about 10 developers on our team. We have product managers and designers and an amazing management team that is in charge of fundraising and operations. So we think we're in a, obviously everybody wishes that the bull market would have sort of just kept on going forever and ever. And we grew very, very quickly initially, but we've scaled back to right size ourselves for this period of the economic cycle. and we have much clearer goals now than in the past, where we were trying to ramp up really quickly, and we're able to because of the economic conditions.
Yeah.
And now we're very product and execution focused, and have a core team that is committed and excited about the product.
Awesome. Okay, and then last question. Imagine like 2030, Austin Fatheree, Origyn. What is your vision in maybe 7-8 years about the company? General, you think every like around the world use Origyn technology, because this is something like solve a big problem, solve like a problem like a long time ago. Yeah. What do you think about the future of this technology?
Well,
10 years.
Yeah, so the vision is to build basically the largest DAO in the world that governs the largest amount of assets in the world. Now, will we get there? I don't know. But what it amounts to is if you think of something like the New York Stock Exchange that deals in fungible securities, right? What we're building is something along the lines of something like that's decentralized and is focused on fungible goods. I mean, non-fungible goods, right? So real hard assets, and everything from base commodities to Corvettes, right? Being able to have a marketplace where you can go and see clearly the pricing for non-fungible assets is something that's very exciting. And if you can participate in that marketplace with trust provided by the ORIGYN digital certificate, you could engage with it in a way that could fundamentally change the way that marketplaces work, that fundamentally shifts the value. People have a really hard time visualizing how much value is extracted by market makers. Right now, they provide a valuable service. If you don't have market makers, you don't have a market. But if we can decentralize market making and return that value to the edges of the network, you're talking about just a massive economic shift of reduction of economic rent charged in an insane amount of efficiency that's created in the marketplaces. So we think the ORIGYN digital certificate is the core to that. And the digital experiences we're building around that, we think will give it velocity and help maintain community and the sort of people power that you need to fuel that. And then the marketplace we're putting together, we think has the potential so that this DAO eventually is overseeing the economic activity far beyond what any sort of physical goods marketplace is seeing right now.
Okay, yeah.
If we're successful, right? We got to execute. We need some time to push it out there, but that's the idea.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to hear that. Also because the launch, original launch was crazy. Like, honestly, also with the different information, investors, like Paris Hilton, whatever, the famous people all around the world. And then you realize, like, hey, we need to like grow step by step. Organic growth is the best way to continue from the long term. Yeah, this is something like a good vision. As you mentioned, the management team, they are doing a great job for sure, like IT team and the entire ORIGYN company. Honestly, this is like one of the best, or I think the best project in internet computer in the best blockchain. And yeah, thank you so much, Austin Fatheree, for your time today. Like a really useful conversation. I think it's very valuable for the audience, for people not only in ICP ecosystem, also outside the ICP, to know more about ORIGYN and what we are doing. And yeah, thank you for your time today.
All right. Thank you. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care, Austin. See you soon and good luck. Take care. Bye-bye.